Hi and welcome to Rear Facing Toddlers. Britax-Römer are currently running a heritage car seat campaign on Instagram, and they are asking people to submit pictures of their old car seats that they were either in themselves or that they used for their children. So I thought, being the car seat nerd that I am, I would take that one step further, because I've actually got quite a few old car seats, not just Britax but other brands as well, in my loft. Some of these car seats were seats that I used for my own children. Not the originals, because that was a long time ago, but I actually managed to find some of them second-hand, really cheap over the last couple of years. I've just put them in my loft. I've never done anything with them, but I thought now that this campaign is running, now would be a perfect time to bring some of them down and actually, rather than just post pictures of them on Instagram, also just make a little video of each one, just to sort of bring the seats to life a little bit more and show you what car seats used to look like about 25-30 years ago. So to start with, I'm going to do the very first car seat that I ever had for my son, which I would have bought about 30 or so years ago. This car seat here, which was called the Britax Recliner, is probably about 40 years old. So this first video, I'm going to just talk you through that car seat and show you what it was like and how it used to work. And actually, a couple of years ago when I first bought that car seat, I took some pictures of my granddaughter sitting in it, which looks a bit odd because the contrast between the old car seat and the modern car is massive, but it's actually quite cool. So I will put some of those pictures in between the video as I'm talking through it.
And I would just like to use this first picture to apologise for some of the background noise that you can hear in this video. Unfortunately, some of my neighbours were playing quite loud music in their car, and it was also quite windy, so there is a little bit of noise here and there. I'm sorry about that. There is a date stamp on the back of this car seat that says it was manufactured in October 1989, and there is a white label next to it that gives the weight limit and other information. Currently, car seats have to have an orange sticker with the weight limit and the regulation number, but obviously in these days, back in 1989, the sticker was white.
Now this car seat is forward facing only, and from 6 months is obviously not something that we would ever recommend now, because children need to rear face until they're at least 4 years old. But this one was forward facing only, 9 to 18 kilos, which is roughly 6 months to 4 years. So I've just placed the car seat in the boot of my car, and I'm just going to talk you through the various bits and pieces. I would call it features, probably not the right word because it's so old and I wouldn't really call it that anymore. But yeah, I just want to show you what it was like. So just to compare the old harness to a modern current harness, I've just placed the current Britax Maxway Plus next to the recliner, just to show that this adjuster strap on here is non-existent on this car seat. Most of you are probably familiar with how to adjust a car seat harness, but I'm just going to show you quickly on the Maxway Plus how it works. So you put your thumb on this little tab here, hold it down, lengthen the harness, and to tighten the harness, you pull this strap. So on the recliner, as you can see, there is no adjuster strap. So you had to adjust the hip straps individually with this bit here. It's so old and rusty now, I don't even think it still works anymore. And the shoulder straps were adjusted with these slider bits here, which again are also made of metal and have gone quite rusty over the years because it's so old now. On modern car seats, to adjust the height of the harness, they are usually linked to a built-in headrest, and when you slide the headrest up and down, the straps just go up and down with that headrest. But these old car seats didn't have headrests, and they just had the straps going into slots in the seat shell through the cover, and to alter the height as your child got bigger, you had to take them out of that hole and thread them back in through the one below or above, or however, whichever one you needed. And those harnesses are known as rethread harnesses. And when I turn this seat over, you can see there's two lots of holes for this car seat. There's also a slot lower down because they would have used the same shell for a different model, and that model would have been rear facing from birth, and that is what these little lower slots are for, but on this model they're not used. So I'm just going to adjust the height because I've actually got a baby doll the size of roughly a 1-year-old, which I'm going to put in this car seat in a minute. So to alter the height, you pull the strap out a little bit more, turn that bracket sideways, push it into the hole, it then comes out at the front, and then it goes back in this hole, and you pull it through. And I'll do the same with this one. Nowadays, car seats have a buckle that has a big red button on the front. You press that button and then 2 pins come out of the top of the buckle, and they are attached to the straps that they slide up and down on. And then when you do the buckle up, you put them together and click them down at the same time. this buckle was a little bit different. It's still got a big red button on the front, but when you press that button, it's very old and rusty, but I'll press it and these two bits come out. This stays attached. So the baby's arm goes in here, other arm goes in here, and then you click these bits in, probably do the buckle first, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Click this down first, and then the other one, and that's how you do the harness up. So I've now got my baby doll. He is roughly the size of a 1-year-old, and I'm going to put him in this car seat and adjust the straps, just to show you how lucky we are nowadays to have these one-pull adjuster harnesses, because this was not easy. So here goes baby into the car seat, the buckle strap, oh, it's very far forward actually, okay. And then this strap goes over the shoulders. As you can see, there were no pads on the shoulders. These pads aren't missing. This car seat just didn't have any. So then this goes in the bottom of the buckle. This one, it's a bit bunched up underneath him. This goes in the side of the buckle. And now these shoulders, so these waist straps are actually not too bad, but these are obviously way too long. So this is where the fun begins. So now to adjust the height of the straps, it's literally just a case of sliding this metal bracket along the strap. So you pull the strap through, pull it up through here, then you need to turn it over and adjust it in this bracket here, which will give you a bit of extra length again. So now it's a bit shorter, but still not short enough. So this is just a case of going backwards and forwards with this quite a few times until it's properly adjusted. And I remember this from when I had it for my son. Little bit annoying. So I'm just going to keep going with this for a few more minutes off camera because it's a bit boring to watch, but I do want to make them tight enough before I install the seat in the car. So that's that done. So now the harness is adjusted as tight as it can go. It's actually on the shortest setting, which for this baby is still not quite tight enough, but you know, he's not real, so that's fine. So to install this seat in the car, it's just a case of placing it on the seat, then pulling out the seat belt, and the seat belt then goes through here. Then you grab the buckle tongue from the other side, pull the belt through enough just to buckle it in. Make sure the lap belt isn't twisted, it's all flat. Now this bit here is the guide that the seatbelt goes through, and inside there's a little ribbed wobbly bit of plastic. It's the best way to describe it. And when you pass the seatbelt through that guide, that little wobbly bit will somehow get stuck. So when the seatbelt tries to loosen, it pushes down on the belt, and then the belt won't move. Now, as you may have noticed, this bit of plastic here is just grey. On modern car seats under the R44 regulation, all seatbelt guides on car seats that are forward facing have to be red. So that shows you, that's another thing that shows that this is an older car seat that doesn't meet that regulation yet. So the diagonal part of the seatbelt then goes into this belt guide here on the side of the seat. And then you just push down on the seat with all your weight, push it down as hard as you can, pull the belt tight, give the seat a bit of a wiggle as you're doing that. And that tightens up the belt in this lock here. And that locks it into place. And actually the belt is now really tightly locked with that little bit of plastic in there, so it actually doesn't move. And now it's time to put the baby in the car seat. So you just place him in the seat, put the straps over his shoulders, and these straps are now quite tight because nowadays with modern car seats you would loosen the straps before you take your child out of the seat so that it's much easier to put them back in, because these straps don't adjust, they're actually really stiff and quite difficult. But to loosen them every time would be almost impossible, so you would just leave them where they were. So that clips back in, and there you go. So this car seat was called the recliner for a reason, because this is the most upright position, but it does actually have a recline position. And you do that by, there is a bar down here, squeeze that bar up, and then the whole seat lifts up like this, and then you push that back down again. That's all good and well with a little baby. Trying it with like a 15-kilo 3-year-old was very, very hard. And I remember when I used to do this with my son, and then if he woke up and he had to sit back up again, you would literally lift up this handle and the whole seat with his weight would just clunk back down. It was quite scary on your fingers. But yeah, so there it is, the Britax Recliner. So this was the first of my videos in the Britax Heritage series, and this was, as I said earlier, the Britax Recliner, which is the oldest first car seat that I ever bought. I've got a few more Britax seats, so I will make a few more videos that I will upload in the coming days. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon.